switch over to mine and retweet. Man, my sinuses have been crazy the last week.
Dude, you too?
Dude,
That
I couldn't
bipolar
hardly
weather, man.
I couldn't hardly talk on Nerd Cave Retro last night. I kept trying to cough every time I talked.
Yeah. My voice has been hoarse like all day.
All right, Twitch stream looks good. Holding strong. All right. So if you're ready if you guys ready, I'm ready.
All right, let's get it cracking.
Let me make sure this is
All right.
turned up. All right. And 3, 2, 1.
Are you fearful for the safety of you and your children this Halloween? Are you worried that people are going to put ketamine in the candy they hand out? Are you concerned that this pagan religious practice has ingrained itself too wholly into our Christian society for us to find salvation? I have a second grade reading level. Fuck you, bitch. Go listen to the music of the real TNT and get wicked this Halloween. Suwoo. Let's hit it.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy, it is Thursday night. You know what that music means? It is time for the Open Micers podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig.
Jacob, please introduce our guest tonight, who is sitting there with the greatest mask I've ever seen.
Yes, that mask is iconic on the local rap scene. We are joined by local horrorcore rapper, the real TNT.
Woo!
TNT, how you doing, man?
What's up, world? I'm doing fine, man. Glad to be here. It's an honor to be on the show, man, and thank y'all for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you,
Hell yeah,
man.
man. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Please describe horrorcore rap for me, because I did not even know this was a genre until you were supposed to be on the show, and it sounds like something that's totally up my alley.
Okay, well, it originally started off as just like gangster rap down south, but since we're in the Bible Belt, they always call it that devil shit. So it went from being called devil shit to being called horrorcore because most of the artists sampled horror movie themes and made it into their beats for music.
That's
So
pretty
that's where
cool.
the whole term comes from. And it's basically just getting on the microphone and saying the most outlandish, horrific shit that you can say without having any repercussions for it.
Yeah, man. I've had the opportunity to see you a couple times. We've done a couple shows together, and every time I see you, it's fucking entertaining. Like you cannot say that what you do is not high quality fucking entertainment. Like I really dig what you do.
Thank you, man.
You know, and I think it's similar to comedy in a way. It's like you say this outlandish stuff for entertainment purposes, and you're absolutely untouchable because it's for entertainment, and everyone knows that
Yeah,
you're not entirely serious.
yeah. But some people really take it serious. Like when I first started doing it, I had a whole bunch of people like afraid to even approach me to even ask me what the music meant because they thought that I was really into the things that I'm rapping about. It's like, no, it's just me basically putting a horror movie on wax.
That's awesome.
Right? Yeah. Kind of like Rob Zombie a little bit. If Rob Zombie was a rapper.
Exactly.
I wish I'd have known you
So
4 years ago. I would have definitely had you on the soundtrack from Monsters Anonymous, man. It sounded like it would have been a match made in heaven.
Oh yeah.
fuck, hit the sequel.
Yeah, no
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Give me $30,000 and I'll do the second one.
All right, let's start a Patreon.
Yeah.
let's go.
Kickstarter.
Let's get the GoFundMe
So
going again.
have you been able to
But
do any shows during the whole lockdown, or has it been all? Have you been doing any like online shows or anything?
No, everything has went to shit as far as the
Yeah.
entertainment style. Like you gotta find a venue that's not scared to
yeah,
being fined to do a show at down here.
Yeah.
And like all the places Midwest, like when they hit me up, is like too short for notice. Like, man, I have a 9 to 5. I'm not just a rapper making money off of my music. I have an actual job. So I need at least 2 weeks notice before I can just take off and go do a show.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would have been all for it.
So do you have?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
is your stuff available on like Spotify and things like that? I saw you had a Bandcamp. I'm gonna put that link in the show notes when we end here tonight.
Yeah, I'm available on all platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play. Napster is still around. It surprised the hell out of me when I got an alert saying I'm on Napster now. Or Deezer, whatever the hell Deezer is.
That's pretty sweet. I know what I'm listening to tomorrow while I'm at work.
Hell yeah.
so, how did you get started doing horrorcore rap locally? Like, take us through a little timeline from where you started to where you are now.
Okay, so when I was around about 9 or 10 years old, I wasn't really into
Okay.
rap back then because, like, rap that was out back then, it was either booty shaking music or hip hop, hip to the hip, that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, it ain't nothing special. And then, like, I was listening to Two Live Crew. It used to come, Two Live Crew used to come on the radio back in the day. Imagine that. And I was singing along to the song, and then all of a sudden, I just feel a smack upside my head. And I look around, it's my grandma. She's like wailing on me, "Don't you dare sing that song!" Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "What the hell? Why am I getting beat for singing a song that's on the radio?" So I get around my sister's baby daddy at the time, and I asked him because he always played like Two Live Crew and other stuff in his car. And he was like, "What song was you singing?" And I explained it to him. It was a song called "Do I Did It" by Two Live Crew. Go look that up if you wanna take a trip down memory lane.
Oh, I
But the
remember it.
lyric that I was singing was it was a part where he said, "In between her legs it was a big wet spot, singing do did it did it do." And that's when I got smacked upside the head. So when I told him that, he was like, "Boy, you don't know what you were just singing, do you?" I was like, "No, I'm 9 years old. I don't know anything about sex and stuff." And then when he explained to me that I was talking about a woman's vagina getting wet, I was like, "Okay, now I'm curious to see what the hell else Two Live Crew raps about." So I originally got into hip hop because of Two Live Crew and how uh, nasty they was in their music. They talk about sex 24/7. And then after getting into Two Live Crew, that's when I found out about NWA because Two Live Crew had a beef with NWA back in the day. So it just basically me jumped from that platform of music to NWA. And then I found out that we had our own brand of rappers in the South, the Ghetto Boys and Gangsta Nip. And Gangsta Nip was the one who started the horrorcore thing in Texas. He had an album come out back in the day called South Park Psycho, and I listened to that from front to back. And I started going to the bus stop, repeating those songs, and people were like, "Man, what the hell are you rapping?" It's like it's Gangsta Nip, blah blah blah. And soon I just started freestyling my own lyrics, and that's how I got into hip hop. And it went from me freestyling lyrics to battling people, and from battling people, I wanted to start taking it serious and do my own thing. And that was around the time when 3 6 Mafia first came on the scene,
Hmm.
and my uncle used to be a truck driver, and you couldn't get 3 6 Mafia in Hattiesburg back in the day. If you couldn't special order it, it wasn't available because it was banned. So he used to bring me all the underground tapes from Memphis and stuff, and I studied it like it was homework and started developing my own styles off of the music that they created, and that's how TNT was born.
That's pretty sweet. Did you ever know David Banner?
No, I seen him live in concert twice when he first started blowing up, and he was on the whole anti-mainstream music thing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget he was performing at a club called Hi Hat 2000 in Hattiesburg, and he got on stage and he was like, "If you spent your money on Jay Z's last album and you didn't buy a person's album from your hometown, fuck you." And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
That's awesome. Back in the day, like when I was in the band Ferrigno, he had actually we'd played a couple of shows with him, and he asked us to be his backing band, and I was
Oh
all
man,
about it. But I don't know what we were gonna do it, but I don't know. I don't remember exactly what happened. It kind of negotiations fell apart, I guess. But I would have been totally into that to be his backing band.
hell yeah.
God, you're old.
I know I'm old, dude.
Hey, I'm old too, man. I'm turning 38 next month.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like half of Jason's age.
yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm 43, and yeah, I remember when Two Live Crew was out. Me and my brother had the tape when I was a kid, and we used to sneak and listen to it. And I was like, it was great because we knew we weren't supposed to be listening to it. And
Yes.
then they got
Mm.
that was around the time that they got arrested in Florida for performing the album and all that stuff. And man, I remember that was a huge uproar back then.
Yeah.
And like you look at it now, it's kind of tame, like looking back now. But at the time, that was holy crap. That ruffled everybody's feathers back then.
Yep. And
Yeah,
there's
man.
a reason why they got to put parental advisory on everything now.
Yep.
Hey, that's how you know what to buy and what not to buy. If it doesn't
Exactly.
have one of those stickers on it, I'm not gonna fucking get it.
Yeah.
But I remember, man, like that's the best music to listen to is like the music that no one wants you to listen to.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old, uh, me and my brother got in trouble because my brother snuck a Tupac album into the house, and he was letting me listen to Tupac. And my mom's like super chill. Like my mom's the most chill person ever. I've been listening to Green Day since I was in her womb, and I'm like, why the fuck can I listen to all this and not Tupac?
You know what's funny?
And
When you say you back when you were 10 years old, that was like 2010.
it was 2010. God damn it! He found he was working with my mom at a thrift store. My
Tupac
mom
had
worked
been
inside
dead
the
for
thrift store.
16 years at that point.
Look, it's true. It's too, but that's my point. It's far too far along for this to still be happening.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
let the little white boys listen to the fucking Tupac album, please.
It's the South,
But
man. What do you
the main problem
expect?
was that we stole it. So
Ah.
we stole it out of a storage unit, which I think is what Tupac would have wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of drew you to the whole like horror aspect of everything? Like I love horror movies too. I'm a huge fan of horror movies, especially old horror movies. Like all going all the way back to the black and white Universal monsters, and especially like the slasher films of the 70s and 80s. Like that's my genre, and that seems like where your stuff would be coming from is that era.
Uh, yeah, you gotta blame that on my aunt Angela Thomas. She was like, when I was born, she was still in middle school, and like when she used to babysit me back in the day, she'd have like one Disney movie, and the rest of them be horror flicks. And like the whole weekend, we'll be watching horror movies without my mom's or my grandma's knowledge, and it just stuck with me. I became a horror freak because of her. And then when I found out that rappers were actually taking horror theme music and making songs out of it, I was like, I want to try that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I think the first horror themed rap song was probably "Nightmare on My Street" by Fresh Prince. Do you guys remember that song? He rapped about Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger. I was all about that song when I was a kid. I loved that song so much, and it sounds like you kind of had my aunt was me and my brother and my aunt all grew up like we were brother and sister because we lived next door to one another, and she was 10 years older than me, so she would always take me to the movies when I was a kid, and she would take me to horror movies like Friday the 13th movies, and she took me to see Gremlins when I was way too young to see that movie, and it fucked me up till I was like 13 and had to sleep with the lights on. But I don't know what happened, but I love horror movies, and I would be like, I'd never even thought to like, when I was younger, I should have mixed horror with music. Like, I don't know why I didn't like put those two things together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably like horror so much because you look like you belong in a horror movie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
I,
is there like a particular movie or like movie score or something that's kind of influenced you in your musical journey?
a particular one.
Because I mean, honestly, if I was a horrorcore rapper, I would be sampling the Halloween theme a lot.
Yeah, that one been used so much though, so I tend to
Yeah.
avoid that one. Um, one that really put me on the map was the theme from Saw.
Mm.
I
Okay.
reincorporated that into a beat for a song called Posse Up, and people used to go buck wild off that song. I was like, man, it's just something about the beat. I don't know where it came from, but it just makes me want to fuck up some shit. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, it's from Saw. I'm testing you to see how buck you'll get.
So if you had a main genre of horror, like where would you say most of your influence comes from? What genre of horror?
I don't know if I can break it down to just one genre. I can do it by directors. Like I'm influenced by Dario Argento and Clive Barker.
Mhm.
Who's another one that's good? John Carpenter, the whole Apocalypse trilogy he
I'm
did in the
so
'80s
glad you
with
said that.
The Thing. Uh,
Yeah.
what was the other one? Prince of Darkness.
Hmm.
Those were my shit back in the day. It scared the hell out of me, but I still love them. Of course, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, like horror movies wouldn't be nowhere without those two. And it's George Romero because he
Yes.
he transformed the whole zombie genre. And I didn't know that
Right.
those movies existed before him until I actually started doing some research and saw that they had zombie movies back in the black and white age, but it was like voodoo zombies, not
Hmm.
like zombies coming from the grave, dead or reanimated because of whatever. But
Yeah, they were
George
just like
Romero changed that.
hypnotized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, rest in peace, George Romero, man. That's a huge loss for the horror industry.
and it's kind of an interesting
Yeah, man.
story too. When they made that movie, he worked for like a local TV station in Pittsburgh, so he got like all his friends that he worked with to help make that movie. And then he fucked up when they finally got it together. He didn't put the copyright number on the film itself, so that's why anybody can just show that movie nowadays. There's no
Wow.
copyright on it, and he couldn't make money off of it because he forgot to put the copyright number on it. I was like, I am going to make damn sure everything I do has a copyright on it after
Yep.
that, hearing that story.
And because of that, they was able to make Return of the Living Dead without him.
Hmm. And I
Yeah.
actually like that movie. I really
Yep.
like that movie. If you had a favorite zombie movie, what would your favorite zombie movie be?
Favorite zombie movie? I would have to say 28 Days Later because it changed it to Running Zombies.
Yeah.
And that scared the hell out of me because you see me, I'm fat.
Yes.
If we have running
Oh
zombies,
yeah,
I'm
dude.
fucking doomed. If I can't get into a vehicle and drive off, I'm not gonna make it.
Look, I am 100% with you. What scared the shit out of me was World War Z.
Yeah.
Because those fuckers, they're faster than a normal human.
Yeah,
Like,
and they climb over each other.
yeah, and it's like the entire movie is like Brad Pitt doesn't kill a single fucking zombie. I think he kills like one zombie, and it's like him like tying magazines to his fucking arms so he doesn't die. It's like, man, if I have to tape magazines to myself, I'm just gonna go, guys.
Yep.
What about you, Jacob? What's your favorite zombie movie?
Oh fuck, dude, that's so hard, honestly. Um, I know it's not a zombie movie, but I really love The Walking Dead a lot. Um, like the first 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Uh, After that, it gets a little, repetitive.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. My favorite zombie movie probably Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
That's actually probably the one that I don't want to say it's my favorite, but that's the one I gravitate to the most because I love the original Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero, but it was still the slow moving zombies, and I love Night
Right.
of the Living Dead. I love all the George Romero movies, but the older you get, the stupider they become because it's just kind of like a slow zombie comes after you. All you have to do is just go and move over, and they can't
Exactly,
get
yeah.
you. But the Dawn of the Dead, that was before 28 Days Later, wasn't it? Because
I don't know.
I think that was the first
No, I
time
think
that they did the running zombies, and it was like, holy shit, these dudes are crazy.
so. If I'm not mistaken, I think 28 Days Later was like 2003, and Dawn of the Dead was like 2005.
I think so.
But I can Google it real quick
Yeah,
to
whichever one
make
was
sure.
first, it was like it just changed the whole, like, put the genre on its head, because wasn't really much more you could do with, you know, the slow moving zombies. But then once those bastards start running, that's it. Like, ugh.
Yeah. So 28 Days Later was 2003, and Dawn of the Dead was 2004.
Okay, yeah.
So
I knew they were pretty close together.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
honestly,
Dawn of-
I like 28 Weeks Later more than 28 Days Later myself.
I've never seen it actually.
Really? You need to see
Yeah,
me
I've
on
seen-
that.
Dude, I took a class in college called Film as Literature,
Mhm.
where instead of reading books, we watch movies and analyze them. And 28 Days Later was one of the movies that we watched. Like, that movie's being taught in schools right now.
Yeah.
It's super fucking dope.
Well, it's good.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw that movie. So I really want to see the sequel.
Yeah, you should. It's just as good, if not better, than the first one.
Yeah.
Dude, off topic, but fucking 30 Days of Night scared the shit out of me.
I like that movie
Yeah,
too.
that movie was refreshing because it made the vampire scary again and not this twinkle Twilight
Yeah.
crap.
Exactly, dude. And like I've thought about moving to Alaska a lot because I like it cold and
Yeah.
there's a lot of money to be made over there if you're a teacher, which I'm going to school for. But 30 Days of Night, like I'm not gonna live through that month, man. I'm gonna be shitting myself every single day.
I don't see how they can keep up with time when it's like dark 24/7. Like that would mess with my psyche. I'll go nuts.
There is one that one movie. Crap, what was the name? It had Robin Williams in it, and
Bicentennial Man.
no, not that. It had Robin Williams and Scarface. What's Scarface's real
Al
name?
Pacino?
Al Pacino, and is it
Memento.
1 hour? Is it 1 hour photo or something like that?
1 hour photo. Al Pacino wasn't in 1 hour photo.
It was one of those movies where Robin Williams was a serial killer and Al Pacino was chasing him, and it was set in Alaska, and he never knew what time it was because it was always daylight for like 3 months or something, like of solid daylight, because the sun never set. And he kind of went crazy because he was like, get the kids out of school, you know, like, because or whatever. And the lady was like, it's 2:00 in the morning, and it was broad daylight outside. I was like, oh, that'd be weird.
It's called Insomnia.
Insomnia, that was it, dude. Watch that movie too. It's really good.
I'm gonna check that out. I seen 1 hour photo. That was another crazy movie he played in. That was underrated for Robin Williams. Like a lot of people don't know about that movie.
Yeah.
Dude, coincidentally, I also watched that in my college class. They're also teaching 1 hour photo in college.
Wow.
And it was weird, dude. Like, I kind of got it until like the very end when Robin Williams like actually got like I think it was like a knife or a gun or something, and like started taking naked photos of people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like I was kind of on your side until you did that. Like I kind of saw where you were going, you know, where you were coming from until you.
Well, you had mentioned John Carpenter earlier too. John Carpenter is my absolute favorite director of all time, and I don't know if you've ever seen. My favorite horror movie by him is In the Mouth of Madness.
Yes.
That's my
HP
favorite.
Lovecraft, baby.
Yes. Oh, have you seen that, Jacob?
Mm-mm.
Oh man.
You poor child. What did your parents do to you?
TNT. So I have a running list of the shit that Jason tells me to watch. Because he's 23 years older than me. He's like, have you seen this? Dude, you gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta watch. This month alone, you have to watch In the Mouth of Madness. You have to watch They Live, and then you gotta watch, because In the Mouth of Madness is part of the Apocalypse trilogy. It's the last one. The first one is The Thing, then there's Prince of Darkness, and then there's In the Mouth of Madness. So just watch those this month, and then, here's the question. TNT, I gotta ask you this question, and this is gonna determine whether I shut this podcast off right now.
Okay.
How do you feel about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch?
God damn it.
Man. It's garbage. I'm sorry.
This podcast is over. Ah.
It depends
Not
on
this
what,
shit
what point of
again.
view you come from. Like, if you went into it thinking it was gonna be another Jason movie, you was gonna, or what, Michael Myers movie,
Yeah.
you're gonna be disappointed. But if they would have did it as a standalone film without the Halloween added on to the title, it would have been an outstanding movie because it had a good plot where these coven of witches making their own mask company to kill little kids for the Sam Hain sacrifice. That would have been awesome as a standalone title, but people went in there expecting to see another Michael Myers movie, and here's Season of the Witch,
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Shamrock
People
Company.
they screwed up because originally that was John Carpenter's plan, was to make the Halloween series an anthology. Every movie was
Apology,
supposed to be different. So when Halloween was such a success, and then I forgot which movie company it was under, pretty much made him do a sequel with Michael
yeah,
Myers because he was so successful. Um, they really didn't want to do it, so they killed off Michael Myers definitively in the
mm-hmm.
second movie. So when they went to do the third one, it was the anthology series, and people hated it because it didn't have Michael Myers. And John Carpenter's like, Michael Myers is dead. Like, there's no way he could survive what they did to him in the second movie. And
Yeah.
I kind of agree, if they would have just called it something else, or if they would have had better marketing for it to say, look, this is a Halloween anthology series, maybe it would have been a little better. But because it has that Halloween tag on it, it gets way more hate than it deserves. It's actually my favorite Halloween movie, honestly. Even though it doesn't have anything to do with Michael Myers, I
Mm-hmm.
prefer it out of all the Halloween movies. Like, I love the first one, but it started the genre, and honestly, not a lot happens in that movie. If you go back and
No.
watch the original Halloween, that is a slow burn of a movie until the last
Dude,
10 minutes.
I just watch it for Jamie Lee Curtis's fat booty.
Yeah. Well, you need to watch, if you really want to see Jamie Lee Curtis, you need to watch Trading Places with Eddie
I've seen
Murphy.
Trading
And
Places. I don't recall that though.
oh,
Was
she
Jamie
showed
Lee
her
Curtis
boobs.
even in it?
Yeah, she became Dan Aykroyd's girlfriend in the movie. She was a hooker that took him in after he lost all his
Mm.
money. And she flashes her
Okay.
boobs in the movie, and you're like, oh! That was the first time I ever saw boobs when I was a kid.
Oh man.
That was a funny thing about the 80s and 90s. Like, whenever a female celebrity would finally show her boobs on camera, it was like an event. Oh, she
Yeah.
went topless in this movie.
Dude, they
What?
showed
I gotta see it.
the 80s was the boobs decade, man. Dude, they had boobs in PG movies back then.
Yep.
It's true.
I miss the
That's
80s.
Me and my homie
I
Chris Jones was talking about this the other day. Like, the horror movies that come out now, where the big titty women at? Like, they don't have the big tits in it anymore. Like, at least the first victim used to be like a big titty blonde, and you see her shirt get ripped while she's getting stabbed up. But no,
Yeah.
it's too PC now.
Mhm.
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you think about horror movies today? I like a lot of stuff that's come out. Like, I really like the show Scream Queens because I'm a big comedy horror fan. Like, one of my favorite movies is Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, that type of stuff. But what do you think about horror movies, like, within the last 10 to 15 years? Like, what do you think about newer horror movies?
Within the last 10 to 15 years, the newer horror movies, like, if you're trying to find anything good, you have to actually go look for it. Like, it's not out in the theaters,
Yeah.
except for like a few of them that's done by independent studios. But the rest of them I find by accident, seeing a post about it and saying how good it is, and I'll go research it and see if it's on Netflix or Hulu. Like, the streaming services done took over the horror genre, so if your
Hmm.
movie ain't popping on a streaming service, it's probably crap.
Because, dude, I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
once Mandalorian's over with, I'm gonna get rid of Disney Plus and get a subscription to Shudder because
Yeah. I
I
got the
love
whole
Joe
year
Bob.
subscription.
Dude, I can't believe I haven't done it before now. I love Joe Bob Briggs back in the '90s for Monster Vision. Like, that's how I found all of the horror movies that I love, was because of Joe Bob Briggs. Back in the day. And I don't really like the big mainstream horror movies nowadays, like Insidious and all that type of stuff. I mean, they're okay, but
You talking about the Hugathon movies?
yeah,
The
like
ghost chasing them for a whole hour, acting like they're gonna hug them.
yeah, just
Yeah.
something about the horror movies out now just kind of don't have the same heart that they used to have. Even though they were sick and disgusting and gross back in the '80s, they had like a weird kind of heart behind them, and
Yeah,
like people
Yeah.
loved going to see a Friday the 13th movie because they wanted to see Jason fuck some people up, and they went to see Halloween movies because of Michael Myers. I don't feel like there's no more like real slashers anymore.
Yeah. Even the Halloween remake they did, I mean, it got a lot of good praise because of the plot and what they did with it.
Yeah,
But is it scary? No, it's not
no,
fucking scary.
nope.
Like, I don't remember the last movie I saw where I was actually scared. Because, like, The Conjuring, Annabelle, Insidious, the
yeah.
Poltergeist remake, it's all fucking garbage. Like, it just is. I mean, you get a jump scare that you're not expecting, and you're like, ooh, jump scare. But I'm
Dude,
not fucking scared. I'm not gonna go home and think about that jump scare.
dude, I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. Last Halloween or I watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time
Mm,
since I was like 10 years old, and I didn't really remember too much from it.
damn.
I watched it like last Halloween, and it fucked me up for like a week, man, dude. I was having nightmares about being chased by Leatherface through the woods. Like, there's just something visceral about that movie that just messed me up, dude. I don't know about you guys if you've seen it recently, but whew, that movie, damn.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
those movies from the 80s and 90s, when you return back to them, like, I think it's because they actually use practical effects and not CG.
Yeah,
It sticks
There
with
you
you
go.
because it actually looks like somebody's getting fucked up in those movies. It's
yeah,
not, you
Mm.
can't really tell it's a rubber head unless you like watch the behind the scenes footage of the movie. But if you actually like watching it as it happens, it looks like somebody's actually getting decapitated in those movies.
Oh, dude, speaking of that, there's one scene. If you go back and watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 1974 Toby Hooper Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's a scene where the dude goes into the house, I guess looking for the people, his girlfriend or whatever, and there's that metal sliding door that
Yeah.
Leatherface comes out from, and the dude is in the doorway, and Leatherface comes out and hits that dude over the head with like a mallet, and the dude just drops and hits the floor, and it looks like he really hit the shit out of him and just
Hell yeah.
dragged him in and slams the door. Dude, that part haunts me to this day. Go watch that scene, and it's like you're watching a snuff film. Like, I don't know
Yep.
how they did some of those effects back in the day, unless they really fucked somebody up, hitting them in the head and shit.
Hell yeah.
Man, now I'm craving some chili.
Yeah.
Get some of those human hot dog chunks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I kind of like the remake too that they did. I think it was one with Jessica Biel, or is it Jennifer Biel or Jessica Biel? Which one is which?
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, Jessica Biel, or one that was like 2004. I really like that one. But then you go
I've
back
never
and
seen
watch the original, and it's on another level of creepiness.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a huge missing part of movies these days because they do it on TV all the time. Like TV does not have a huge CGI budget, so they use FX makeup. Like on The Walking Dead, they use FX makeup for almost all of their zombies, unless they have some kind of ridiculous stunt that they're doing.
That's Greg
But I
Nicotero,
mean,
man, dude. That
oh
dude,
yeah,
oof, man, he's good. Does makeup
yeah,
and he
he's a
directs.
legend.
Yeah, he's a dude's. I'd love to meet that dude someday.
Me too, man. But yeah, that's what's missing from movies that makes it fucking scary because you see obvious ghost CGI, and even if you don't, immediately pick up on it, you're not scared because it's CGI. Like deep down. But
Yeah.
I mean, you see the blood and the guts and the gore like a Tarantino film. Like if you use Tarantino FX in horror movies, it would be so much scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that really scares me now is I get scared more from thrillers than actual horror movies. Like the movie Split actually scared me a little bit.
That was a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
movie.
Because I mean, it's just a psycho guy that's kidnapping two girls, and I have a daughter now, so it's like I'm not worried about being kidnapped, but I'm worried about my family being kidnapped. So this
Yeah.
guy's kidnapping young girls, and then just tortures them and holds them, and they think they can escape, and they can't, and then he just turns into this beast, and they explain it like using realistic science and shit, and it's like, god damn, that is scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm if you can't tell, we love horror movies here at
Oh
the
yeah.
at the Open Micers podcast. But I definitely want to listen to some of your stuff. I am going to go on a deep dive tomorrow on Spotify and listen to everything. And I love your whole aesthetic. Like as soon as I saw the mask, I'm like, yep, I'm listening to this dude's stuff.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Bro,
Appreciate it.
that's the most white girl compliment ever. I love your aesthetic.
Dude,
You want to go get mocha cappuccinos together?
dude, aesthetic. I use that word because it's the only way I can describe things. Like when you watch a John Carpenter movie, is there's a certain aesthetic to it that there's like
Yeah.
this underlying creepiness to everything. Like I have that's the only word I can use to describe it. Like you can't describe it unless you see it or feel it. That's why I love John Carpenter movies so much, and especially in The Mouth of Madness. It's just there's something underlying that's uneasy about the whole thing, and that's the kind of horror that I like. When you just
Yeah.
you feel like some weird shit's happening, and I love it. I wish I could
Okay,
write
so
it.
that brings. You wish you could rap?
No, I said I wish I could write that kind of stuff. Like I can write funny shit all day, but when I've tried to write horror movies before, and I'm just not. I don't have the mind to be able to write horror, and I don't know why,
Yeah,
even though I love it.
I don't know. But that reminded me of a question. TNT, what kind of aesthetic do you use at your shows to try to kind of scare people and drive the horror aspect home?
Um, Besides wearing this mask, sometimes I bring my own fake blood and spit it out on
Mm,
stage.
there you go.
You should
There you go.
you should take a look at a Guar concert and get some ideas and start building some props to put
I
on stage.
actually used to watch their shows and be like, yeah, I want to do some shit like that. Have like
Yeah.
pyrotechnics and blood squirting everywhere. Just out of my budget right now.
Yeah.
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 So, what are your plans for Halloween? You got anything big planned?
Nothing big because I can't, like I said, can't get a venue to be brave enough to let me rent their place out for Halloween because of the pandemic.
Right.
I can understand that. I don't want anybody getting sick on my behalf. I want all my people that support me to be safe and make it past 2020. Um, but other than that, I plan on releasing some music for Halloween just to
Okay.
keep things going.
And
Awesome.
will people be able to find that on your Bandcamp?
Bandcamp, Spotify, wherever you can press play at.
Awesome. So, you guys need to look out for Halloween for some new real TNT.
And hopefully, once the pandemic is over with, we can do the open micers. Maybe we'll do a concert series and have a show somewhere
Yeah.
around, and we'll have a lot of our musical guests that we've had on. We'll just have one big concert, maybe at the juke joint
Yeah,
or
dude.
something. Do like an all day thing.
That's been an idea that we've been kicking around for a while. Is having doing like a live stream of a comedy show or a concert or something like that, where we show all the performances and maybe afterwards interview some of the performers. We could actually seriously make that happen at the juke joint because I got permission for us to record upstairs because no one's living there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So we could like actually, record performances, go upstairs, and do a podcast from there.
Well, we could do that, and we could use my laptop, and we could just stream the whole thing to my Twitch channel, maybe to Facebook. I think that would be absolutely awesome. And TNT, it was so nice to meet you, man. I'm so glad got to meet you. And like I said, I'm going to listen to all your stuff tomorrow. And we'll definitely want to have you back on the show again because I like talking about horror movies. I really like it.
Anytime, man. I appreciate this.
Of course, man. Is there anything you want to say before we get out?
Man, y'all just be safe out there and treat everybody like you want to be treated, man. One love to all.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What about you, Jacob?
Absolutely.
Anything you want to throw out there before we leave?
Just that you guys need to support our Patreon, please. If you want to keep seeing this great content, if you want to keep seeing the local musicians and comedians and people that, need to be given a platform that aren't given a platform yet, then you should support our show. We are at OM Podcast on Patreon. And if you want to be on the show, just email us, man, at openmicrospodcast at gmail.com.
And for the Halloween season, I am a part of the RGB High Score tournament for this month, and we're going to be streaming Castlevania all next week. It's going to be like 25 different players trying to get the fastest time in the original Castlevania for NES. My time slot will be Friday, October 16th, 8 to 10 p.m. So join me right here on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/jfunktastic. And thank you, TNT, again, for coming on the show. And I'm going to play our music here. Like Jacob said, if you want to email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. We're at openmicers on Twitter and facebook.com/openmicers. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Listen to every damn word I have to say!
That was fucking awesome.
He loves playing with his little soundboard.
Thank you guys for watching on Twitch. I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here on Twitch. Thanks for watching. We'll be next week.